Hello again, wrestling fans. It's the ROB, Real Bobby Munson, coming at you with the latest episode of Rob's Rockin' Wrestling. Yes, today on the show, we are just barely finished WWE TLC, so it's time to have a look at TLC and give our opinions of it. The night started off with a kickoff show match between Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox. This is a repeat from Monday Night Raw's match, so it was one that, maybe not a lot of us were invested in, but we were wrong to think that because this was one hell of a way to start off the night. Great encounter between these two. Very, very impressed with the work that Alicia Fox is starting to put in and getting the chance to do. She's looking great, not only with her in-ring ability, but also her character as well, too. She had some wonderful moments last night, including telling the referee that it's time to do his job and stuff like that. The pleading on her knees for mercy with Sasha there. I mean, it worked. It's great work, and both of them put on, a wonderful showing in the kickoff show. Really, it seems more and more with these kickoff show matches that people are trying to prove that it's not only worth tuning into the kickoff show, but it's your chance to shine. It's really your chance to shine and step up your game and stuff like that, Ted. And I mean, we've seen it a lot recently that the kickoff show match is not necessarily something that you want to be missing. It's definitely given us a reason to tune in early into these events. So, moving on to the main show, we started off with Asuka versus Emma. So yes, it was the debut of the Empress of Tomorrow taking on Emma in this match. Emma getting in a lot of offense, something that a lot of people weren't anticipating, but definitely happened. So this one, a lot more competitive match than I'm sure people were expecting. Asuka still winning with the Asuka lock in the end, which was a great booking decision there. And yeah, but at the same time, Emma not looking bad. Very great opportunity for her to shine. She did shine. The two of them put on a solid starter of a match there last night. So up next, it was cruiserweight action. So Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander taking on Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick. Probably the match I was least excited about going into it. Kind of had the least amount of interest for me, but I stuck it out, watched it carefully and everything. A lot of high flying action. All four of these competitors are very capable inside the squared circle, so not taking anything away from them in particular. It was a pretty standard cruiserweight match for the most part. My favorite part probably being the finale where Swan breaks up the captain's hook with the Phoenix Splash. The faces, Alexander and Swan, getting the win in the end. So that was that. From there, we had the third of three women's matches of the night. Yes, Alexa Bliss defending her Raw Women's Championship against Mickie James. And another very solid showing. Just goes to show just how great the women's division can be when they don't lump everybody into these, poorly booked five-way matches and all this kind of stuff. It is an opportunity for these women to shine. Three matches on the same card for the women's division, all of which were all interesting. All were good, solid matches, enjoyable, well worth being on a pay-per-view card. So kudos to the women of Raw for putting on a hell of a show last night. I think with everything that went down, they were able to get an opportunity to shine on this particular card, and shine they did, and proving once again why they are worthy of not only their spot, but also to the point where we could see a better balance of women and men's matches on pay-per-view cards in WWE. I don't think anybody here would complain if we saw a solid balance where it was you got three women's matches, you got three men's matches in a single night. I think we have come to a time when that is possible, and it should be done more often. Kudos to the women of Raw. You did excellent last night. Nobody looked bad. Alexa Bliss picking up the win last night, but Mickie James giving a nice heartfelt speech afterwards, saying this won't be the last time we see her in a championship match like this. So, great on both accounts. Definitely the best match that these two have had since Mickie James came back to WWE. So the matches on SmackDown didn't quite live up to it, but this one last night made up for all that. Next, we had the Cruiserweight Championship match. It was going to be champion Kalisto defending against Enzo Amore. Enzo, who had lost his voice, still managed to cut a decent promo when he came out saying that was the only thing he was going to lose that night. The match, I gotta say, people are complaining about Amore's in-ring ability. I don't think that he's definitely a bad wrestler. He's not the worst wrestler. I mean, sure, he's not, the speed of Kalisto or anything like that. But I mean, considering the type of character he is, I think it's fitting to what he does and everything. I mean, if I have a sneaking suspicion that most of the people that do the complaining are ones who sit there and have never taken a bump or never even tried a proper wrestling hold in their life. And I say proper because unless you've been out and taken some training, I don't believe that you can sit there and voice an opinion on knowledge of how the holds work or knowing when to put them on or what to do. This is not as cookie cutter and easy as what people like to believe it is. Oh, it's all set up. You know what you're doing. Well, yes and no. There's a lot more to it than just stepping inside a ring and being like, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and voila, 5-star match. No, it doesn't work that easily, and it never will. So anybody who can sit there and run their mouths saying oh, Enzo can't wrestle and stuff, I dare you to try it. I dare you to go and find someone who is willing to take you on and even just do a day boot camp. Just do a day boot camp and see if you can survive the day boot camp. And then see how you feel coming back into it. And then turn around and still sit there and say that people are bad wrestlers. Just a thought. Anyway, Enzo getting the win, becoming a 2-time Cruiserweight Championship champion, I should say, on this particular night. So, next, yes, the first match that was changed due to the illness going around WWE. Yes, Bray Wyatt slash Sister Abigail unable to compete on this particular night, so AJ Styles hopped a plane from Argentina, willing to fill the spot. So we had a Raw versus SmackDown match on a Raw card. This was Finn Balor, AJ Styles in a dream match, and dream match it was. Yes, these two took it to each other. A great match. It built in the right way. It went at the right pace. Everything about it was perfect. The fact that if you're a fan of the indies, you know the history of these two guys. That's the aura surrounding this particular match. It was enough on its own, but then the two bring it. They really bring it in this particular match. And so, we were treated to what I would say is going to be in contendership for match of the year. It's definitely going to be up there. I'm going to say it's going to be on most people's top 10. If not, I would beg to differ. It's going to be in question for the top 3 spots, for sure. And very likely could take the top spot in a lot of people's top 10s come the end of this year. Especially with the aura surrounding it. I stress that more than enough because people wanted to see this and WWE gave it to us and we were treated to a very delightful, very competitive match between two amazing in-ring talents. So yes, this match definitely, I want to say, okay, you know what, as far as in-ring wrestling goes, this was match of the night, and I'm going to leave it at that because once we get to this main event, we're going to talk. Yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, so an impromptu match. Yes, throughout the night, Jason Jordan had interrupted the musical stylings of Elias 3 different occasions. So a match ended up occurring between the two, and this is a hell of a match in the end. It ended up being very competitive between these two individuals. Both are turning into great in-ring talents. Elias more so because of his charisma. He's also got the some in-ring skill to back that up too. Jason Jordan, it's a lot of it just in-ring right at the moment, but the whole him getting out there and throwing the salad and vegetables on Elias, it gave a little bit more personality to Jason Jordan, so it was nice to see Jason Jordan picking up what I would say is a much deserved, much needed win over Elias. Elias can definitely bounce back from this, but it was a good look for Jordan to be picking up the win in this particular bout. So, and now on to the main event, the crazy main event, folks. If you did not witness this last night, I suggest tune into the WWE Network or whatever you can right now. You need to see what went down in this main event. So first of all, Roman Reigns out with illness, so he was going to be replaced by the return of Kurt Angle. First time in 11 years, Kurt Angle stepping inside of a WWE ring. They'll be taking on the team of Braun Strowman, the returning Kane, Sheamus, Cesaro, and The Miz, Intercontinental Champion The Miz, to be exact. And good God, what a TLC match this was. Like, this was absolute warfare for you guys. Like, from start to finish, this match was insanity. I don't even know how to classify it. Last night, as it's happening, I'm trying to figure out the words for it, and then I remember there's one particular quote I heard and thought was perfect, where someone had said this was kind of like a mix between the Attitude Era meets Delete and Decay, which, is probably the best way to describe the carnage of what we saw last night. I mean, we talking ladders used, chairs used, tables used. In the spot where Seth and Dean jumped off the ladders through the announce tables onto Kane and Strowman. I mean, it was total insanity. I mean, chairs used to beat down guys. Kurt Angle gets hurt and taken to the back. Dean and Seth continue to take an absolute mauling. Braun remembers that Kane accidentally hit him with a chair, and the two of them get in a big war, an all-out war. And Kane commits murder on television, pretty much. We saw it last night. Kane just taking out Braun Strowman. Not only taking him out by putting him through a table or whatever, but then dropping a set of ladders. There's this stack of ladders hanging from the ceiling, and Kane pulls those down onto Strowman. Like, this was wild. Then the four guys, Strowman starts to get back up from all this, of all things, and then the four guys that were supposed to be on his team take him and they dump him in the back of a dump truck, and they allow it to go. Like, I'm talking like full-on murder of Braun Strowman on television last night. This was nuts. So from there, Kurt Angle's Olympic music hits this time. As I should have mentioned, he came out with the Shield, did the Shield's music at the beginning of the match. This time, he comes back from the dead, I guess, and Angle's Olympic music hits. He comes back out. He takes out both members of the bar using a Angle slam through the table on Cesaro. And then they come in, and he starts cleaning house. It ends up being a nice big battle inside the ring, and ends with Angle, Ambrose, and Rollins hitting the triple powerbomb on Miz. 1, 2, 3. Wild match. Crazy event. Crazy night. This is a pay-per-view that did not deserve to be as exciting as it was anything of the sort. I mean, on paper, a week ago or 2 weeks ago even, most people were looking at this going, what? And then on Friday it was like, oh my God, like this is getting crazy. Like, what's happening here? This is so unpredictable. And then they gave us unpredictable, especially in that main event. I gave AJ and Finn the match of the night because of it being a match. But the reason I said because of their in-ring wrestling is because this main event is going to be talked about for a long time. This was absolute carnage, absolute insanity at its finest. The fact that they only had one TLC match and pulled out all the stops for it instead of allowing the entire card to be clouded by all these specialty matches made it that much more special. So yes, kudos to WWE. This is the kind of thing that we like. You get these great in-ring matches throughout the night, and then you get complete anarchy. We don't need anarchy in every match. We don't need attitude style, where every match is hardcore and got chairs and blood and all that kind of stuff. No, we just want something with more passion. And this match, even though it looked goofy on paper, ended up having all this passion, all these talking points, all this craziness, and we were treated to something special. And that's what makes WWE worthwhile for me, for all of you, for all the fans. It was wonderful. If you have not seen TLC yet, I suggest suggest going and checking it out immediately. It was definitely worth your time. One of the more entertaining pay-per-views of the entire year for sure. So go check that out. While you're at it, before you go check that out, or even if you're going to rewatch it, take the time to give me a subscribe in the subscribe section below. It really helps me out there. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Rob's Rockin' Wrestling. Have yourself a wonderful day, and get real or get Munson.